Have you ever been obsessed with someone thinking that they are everything you ever wanted, only to find yourself completely desperate? Here's what no one tells you. Everyone talks about letting go, but your heart won't release until you've healed what's inside. Ignore this and you'll stay trapped, anxious, depressed, and giving your energy to people who actually do not care. Because after this, you'll never see obsession over someone the same way again. So a few years back, I was actually seeing someone who I thought that was very caring and very wonderful. But reality hit very hard. I started realizing that he only reached out on his convenience, leaving me consumed by thoughts about him continuously. My chest was feeling very tight. I was constantly in a state of anxiety. My jaw was always clenched, and I even felt the needling sensation from time to time in all of my limbs. It was that bad. Every time before I went and see him, I was actually thinking in my head, oh my god, what shouldn't I do? What should I do? How should I not mess up? What other things I have been doing before that messed up? Maybe a communication, maybe I could improve somewhere. Like all the time overthinking, overanalyzing, and thinking how to please another person rather than actually being myself. I was so terrified of saying the wrong thing that would impact that he would not like me just because of saying that one thing. I know that seems silly right now, but this was the reality I was really living. When a message popped up, for example, I was telling to myself, don't answer yet, just wait 5 minutes, don't look desperate. Then I opened my notes app and just started crafting the perfect message that would please him in the right way in my mind. And of course, deleting, changing everything, and just, yeah, like crazy overanalyzing things. It just really felt like there was so much risk with every word that I would say. So I pedestalized the person completely. I didn't realize that he actually was giving me breadcrumbs, like liking a post or sending a meme here and there, sometimes leaving me on red. And I was thinking like, oh, he's just busy. Maybe he's just that kind of person. But eventually I had to face the painful truth. I was obsessed because my nervous system was starved for emotional connection. I repeat, not physical needs, emotional. As someone who experienced emotional neglect as a child, I've never received enough care, attention, or validation. So anything that felt at least a little bit like connection, it felt like magical to me, only because I didn't have enough or any when I was growing up. So for a person who knows what they deserve, it's clear as day. The emotional input was not enough. And that is why I had to eventually come up to the conclusion. I have to learn to give myself the care I had been craving outside of myself. So this is where I gave myself some tough love. At that point, I haven't heard from that person for a week. So I asked myself, would I really not reach out to someone that I really like for a week? And immediately I knew that the answer was no. I realized that this was rejection that was written in between the lines. And literally that's why I needed that little just to keep on lingering around and hoping for something to work out. So this is where I said to myself, fuck it, I cannot function on uncertainty. So I blocked him everywhere. I deleted all of the chats. I deleted his number. I was done. I did not expect it, but after that heavy realization, I felt an insane relief. I literally remember myself sitting on the bed and just like taking first deep breath after months of just breathing very shallow, and it felt absolutely amazing. So this is where I told myself, if I like someone, I will find time for them. If I care for someone, I want to know how they are every day. If I like someone, I am not confused about how I feel about them, and I showed that I do feel a certain way towards them, and I do not confuse them. If I don't like someone, I don't waste their time. And this is honoring them and honoring myself too. And I was never too much. I never was asking for too much. It was just that I was picking and choosing a person who was never willing to give to me what I wanted and needed. From that point and after, I really allowed the time for all of that mindset to sink in my mind. Dating became a clear process to me, more like a sorting mechanism. I know that it sounds very dry, but it truly is like that, rather than a desperate search that I had before. I was okay if I didn't like someone. I didn't feel the need to confuse someone about misleading them. I was okay even if I knew that someone might reject me as well, because I would always choose clarity rather than just keeping me around for their convenience. I realized that before that, I was looking into life and expecting life to work like a fairy tale. Just meet the one immediately, or seeing that every single person could be workable with me. But that's not the case. And this is the same principle why we don't expect each person that we meet that they're going to be our friends, our close friends. So how can we expect that someone who we have as a life partner is gonna click like this, we're gonna meet like this? No, like these things do not work like that. And that's okay. Imagine it as coming in a buffet and seeing that there's a lot of different options and you know what you like. Meanwhile, you know what you don't like. And if you decide that you want a pizza, you're not going to take salad and make sure that you're trying to make a pizza out of it. It's the same principle here. So I really saw that my obsession about that person had nothing to do with them. It was a signal that my inner norms were misaligned. Essentially, I saw that I was trying to drive with a car 1,000 miles, meanwhile the tank was completely empty. I was giving more than I was receiving, and I was chasing breadcrumbs because I thought that that's all there is. I didn't know what it meant to be treated like I fully deserve, and not how I was trained into being treated. Essentially, I was accepting less for more. So Limerence became my wake-up call. I said to myself, it's time to rewrite the rules for myself. I need to start treating myself like I treat others, by giving them everything and being for them there all the time. Make myself a priority. And very importantly, build the capacity to see when someone is not giving. And with time, that clarity actually spilled not just into my dating and completely changed that part, but it actually went into my friendships, into work, into everyday type of conversation, into all of the relationships that you can imagine. And this is something that I'm still grateful up to this day, and it was one of the biggest turnarounds of my life that completely shifted everything. And believe me, I wasn't feeling like this is going to be it when I was going through everything. I just wanted it to end. I just wanted that person to see me in a different light and actually start treating me differently. But that wasn't the case, but I'm very, very happy how it turned out to be. Because at the end of the day, the universe was trying to send me this message, and I received that, and that lesson has been learned. So limerence is essentially a hijack of your nervous system, often rooted in childhood emotional neglect. It's a sign that your inner norms, the ways you expect to be treated, need realignment. When we consciously use that desperation as a map to our unmet needs within ourselves, obsession transforms into self-discovery. You finally step into that personal power, and you're able to choose and live and behave from wholeness instead of desperation. You learn to treat yourself first, to give yourself what you lacked growing up, and as a result, you can see clearly when someone is not given enough without shame or anxiety. So things to remember here is, first, emotional neglect in childhood creates a hunger for connection and validation, which often manifests as obsessive attachment in adulthood. 2. Obsessive thoughts, hypervigilance, overthinking your actions and words, and not to mention panic over ambiguity, are classic limerence symptoms. And this is signaling a mismatch between inner needs and external input. 3. When people give themselves emotional care first, the nervous system recalibrates. So that relief often appears immediately after creating that space from someone inconsistent. And 4, clarity and boundaries learned in this process lead to higher quality relationships, because choices are made from fullness and not desperation. So if you find yourself in that desperate feeling because someone else is not giving you enough, these steps are going to help you a bunch. So first thing, notice and name the pattern. Identify those obsessive thoughts and acknowledge that limerence is being triggered by childhood needs that being unmet. Name it. That itself will take a lot of power out of it. And then accept the truth that this is currently what is happening. There's absolutely no shame in that. This is the most important step, where you allow yourself to see what is for what is, and is like a foundation for other steps coming forward. Number 2 is actually testing their consistency. I don't like the word testing, but this is where you actually need to see what is for what is, so I couldn't find a better word for it. So very important thing here to first stop rationalizing inconsistent behavior. For example, they are just busy, or maybe they are just this way. If you feel like a person is disconnected, be brave enough to create space and see if they're going to come to you. So very important part here is to turn off notifications, mute when you're busy, and see if they actually show the effort to reach out to you. I'm not saying create it in a fake way, but actually spend that time that you gave your space for when you were waiting for that person to reach out to you, or like just being very in that powerless type of state. This is the time that you can actually focus on yourself. So fill this time with, for example, chores, self-care, going to the gym, meditation, reading a book, like anything that actually fulfills you. And yeah, just enjoy that time and actually build your energy rather than leak it by waiting for someone to reach out on act in a certain way that you think that would be fulfilling for you. Honor your schedule and meet your needs first. Then accept the outcome if they actually decide to ghost you. This is your closure. You don't need anything else. You don't need any explanations, because if a person actually wants to have you in their life, they're going to find a way to do that. Or if they wronged you, they're going to find a way how they can make up for it. So enough giving them power over you. And if they do come back, see how they actually show up for you. Is it with care, or are they acting like nothing happened and everything is as per usual? This is another sign where you can see how much they truly care for you. And if they do express care, this is actually a very good moment to allow themselves to see what you need, who you are, and how you function, and you are able to express that boundary, that need, that this is how it works for you, this is what is important for you. And if they are not hearing you out on that, and if they are getting defensive, if they don't want to understand you or asking what's the big deal, all of those things, well, then there's another sign that they're not ready to meet your needs. And this is a sign to basically say goodbye to that person one way or another. And I know that it's very hard to hear that. And I remember myself, before I realized the necessity of accepting what is and learning a lesson from it, I was so desperate on attracting that specific person and so on. But the thing is that this is not what universe is teaching us. So I ask you to actually hear me out on this, because this is where you're actually holding yourself back for a boy, when a man, or I don't know, for a girl, when a woman, like a real woman, is actually waiting for you. Because like there is a person for you. I'm telling you, there is. Everyone has certain people for them. And this is actually truly where you are putting that self-care into action, by putting those boundaries, by stating what you need, by being assertive and being okay if it goes separate ways. This alone brings you immense power. And if someone truly cares, this will magnify them to you, because you're signaling subconsciously that you are valuing yourself, your time, and your energy. So eventually you're going to start to normalize seeing someone's lack of effort as their lack of interest in you. If they wanted to talk to you, they would. If they wanted to be with you, they would. If they wanted to make it work with you, believe me, they would absolutely do that. You deserve someone who puts in effort into you. And when someone is losing something that is important to them, they will do anything to make sure that that is not happening. All of this has to become your new mantra that you live by, until it's gonna be norm, and then you can move to other mantras. But right now, this is going to be extremely helpful. So now we're going to the next step, which is reframing your story. So I want you to challenge your beliefs here. So for example, when you're saying to yourself, like, if they don't text me, they don't care, create a counterfact for it. People who care consistently make time. This is empowerment, because now you replace insecurity with clarity. Even though it seems from first perspective, well, it's not big of a difference. It is, because this is not where you're actually feeling bad about yourself, but where you're actually seeing things as they are, and you can make smarter and more self-honoring decisions from that point. I encourage you to even right now just take a piece of paper and write down 2 new beliefs. So for example, I deserve clarity, or I honor clarity, or I choose people who show up for me. Few of mine that really shifted me and really anchored in my own energy and my own choices were, I only accept people in my life who show up for me and I show up for them. And another one, which I love probably the most, I don't accept half-ass people in my life. It's rather a ride or die, or I don't want to have them in my life. Put those beliefs, put those sentences, put those mantras that you want to have in your mind, the rules that you want to live by, somewhere where it's visible for you. And whenever you feel shaky, remind yourself what is important, because this is how you are rewriting literally the pattern, the behavioral, the thought pattern that brought you to this particular situation, where anyone can use you for their own convenience. So we're not doing that anymore. So help yourself and have that close to you, and you will see how fast this will recalibrate your expectation from other people, and you will see who you actually don't even want to have in your life, who is not worth of your energy, because you're someone who actually shows up and wants to be for people. And if someone doesn't, well, then it's their problem. And even I have right now that understanding that I do not respect people who are not clear with me. I don't accept, I don't want to deal with them, I don't want to have them in my life. Like, that's it. I'm very rigid in this particular way. Like, this is a very strong boundary for me, which it seems crazy that it was so different before I went through this particular work. Then when it comes down to dates, this is where I want to test them with clarity. So start asking questions with deliberate intention and wait clear answers to it. Just the way you're going to get the answer from a person is going to tell you almost everything about them and if they are worthy of your time. So for example, even the simplest question, what are you looking for? If a person is straightforward, they know what they want, they're gonna even be excited to answer that question for you. And you're going to see if you can even like meet, if there's like a match between you two. And someone who's not clear, not sure, maybe they're uneasy, maybe you can see that their behavior, like body language change, that's another indication actually, and maybe they're even hiding something. So after that date, you can even evaluate it from 1 to 10, like how did it go, where do you see the alignment, what red flags maybe for you came up, what actually you did like, are those red flags actually something important, or just something that it's small inconveniences but it's nothing too important. So I want you to actually analyze your dates, as boring as it sounds, but it actually helps a bunch, especially when you're reworking your whole navigational system in the world when it comes down to these important things in life. And last, and of course not least, is actually prioritizing your own authenticity. This is where it will take a lot of courage to be honest about your feelings and needs. And for someone who has been emotionally neglected in my childhood, I know how hard it can be to talk about feelings, to talk about what you need, to even understand yourself what you need at first, and this is what you're going to do before you're going to be able to express, because otherwise you're going to blindly shot at something in the dark and just like, oh, I heard this somewhere, and you just accept that this is something that is normal. You have to actually deliberately and consciously decide what is authentic for you, what do you need, what do you want, what's non-negotiable for you. All of that is extremely important, because if you're going to actually skip this and hope that maybe we'll magically figure things out and maybe they can change, maybe I can change, if you don't like the person as they are right now and you're not able to put yourself as a person as you are right now, and you're going to hope for a change, either they're going to hope for a change within you and you're going to hope for a change within them, this is not attraction. This is just, again, pedestalizing, but pedestalizing something that could be. There's like no even guarantee that it's going to be like that, but you're just deluding yourself that what it could be. And this where it actually brings you to the same mindset where you were again before that. So we don't want to waste our time and repeat those patterns, and this is exactly what doesn't allow us to do that. And also you have to make peace that it might suck if someone rejects you, but at least you know that, okay, they wouldn't even like me because eventually it will come out that I am this way and I'm not hiding anything. So you actually save time, save a lot of anxiety for yourself, especially after this particular pattern, and you're good to move on and actually experience the whole buffet that is still waiting for you. And for this, I want to give you actually a very good metaphor. So if you're going on a dates without understanding yourself and what you need, this is basically the same as you would be going to search for replacement parts for a car that you don't know the brand for and you don't know the model for. So you're basically picking blindly. So it's completely impossible. So this is a very good representation of the same situation. So authenticity comes first. Not easy to do, but definitely worth it. So as you can see, everything that we talked about is actually something that is enabling you to detach yourself from one-sided type of relationships. And even though it's extremely powerful, that is just the step one, because limerence doesn't end until you cut off the pattern at its knees. So the pattern that has created it needs to heal. Otherwise, it will happen again, just with a new face. So to get this pattern from the roots, this is where you're going to need to check out this video next. This is where it will help you to face the resistance that currently keeps that nurturing love out. So after this, you can actually feel grounded, clear, and attract the relationship that matches your healed energy.